After being lured to an amusement park with the promise of wild fun, Mrs. Kimberly Bailey with her 8-year-old daughter Jessica paid a hefty price for what would be an unforgettable ride. Unknown to the young mother and many others, their experience would be one of terror and tragedy. The year was 1999, a time marked by a series of devastating roller coaster accidents. But what if I told you that the truth behind these accidents has been shrouded in mystery and deception? Gillian's Wonderland Pier was a popular theme park located in Ocean City, New Jersey. Every year, millions of visitors came to ride the wildest roller coasters and have the time of their lives. On the 1st of July 1999, the gates to the Wild Wonder roller coaster were opened and everyone was beyond excited. The Wild Wonder was a Zig-Zag coaster. These are also known as a wild mouse and are a common roller coaster in the amusement park industry. This was the newest addition to Gillian's Wonder Pier. The State Department of Community Affairs inspected it once before its opening and they stated it was safe. But no matter how safe they said it was, Governor Christie Whitman refused to go for a wild ride herself. Her excuse was that she had a phobia of roller coasters. Anyway, everyone moved on and soon people started coming for the wild ride. But what really was the backstory to the governor's roller coaster phobia? Well, 1997 was a dark year for New Jersey's amusement park industry. The year was known by a surge of terrifying accidents as several individuals fell victim to the dangers of these rides. On the 28th of August, a lot of people went to Gillian's Wonderland Pier, ready to have some fun. Amongst the thrill seekers was 39-year-old Kimberly Bailey and her daughter Jessica, who was 8 at the time. According to reports, mother and daughter came to Gillian's Wonder Pier for the Wild Wonder ride, which was new at the time, so the two unsuspecting passengers embarked on the roller coaster. They felt lucky because they were seated in the front row. The coaster car began its ascent up the steep lift hill. Everything looked fine for a while, but as the car was near the top of the roller coaster, towering at a height of 35 feet, disaster struck. In an instant, the coaster car started racing down again backwards, and there was no turning back. The racing car eventually hit another vehicle, and at the time, new passengers were boarding the roller coaster. Due to the collision, mother Kimberly Bailey and her daughter were thrown out of the car in front of dozens of witnesses. This event was fatal for both of them. A fun day out turned into a nightmare very quickly. If all the individuals had entered the car, the death toll would have been even higher. The impact was truly catastrophic. The injured individuals were 39-year-old Mark Madzak and his young children. In his statement, Mr. Marks said, "It was like, oh my God, it's coming back down. As quickly as I said that, it hit." His wife, who was waiting for her husband to board the ride, later stated, "I saw 2 bodies fly incredibly. It was a woman and a child. The woman slammed into a beam. The child just flew. I knew right away they had to be dead." The city was in shock once again. Now it's been more than 2 decades since that incident in Ocean City, and yet the whole truth has not come to light. What exactly happened? As stated earlier, the Wild Wonder was a brand new addition to Gillian's Wonder Pier in 1999. But here's a problem. Just 11 days before the incident, things started to get weird at the park. On August 17th, maintenance workers were called in to check the rides and make necessary changes. While making changes, the workers replaced the crucial chain dogs and safety dogs. Now this was an important change to make. The chain dogs are small but mighty pieces of steel positioned under each train, while these chains ensured that the ride moved forward smoothly. More importantly, they would stop the train if it attempted to move backwards. So one might ask, why would the workers decide to replace the original chain dogs and safety dogs with subpar locally made versions? Not only was that change illegal under New Jersey state law, but the locally made components were crafted from low-quality non-hardened steel. And what's worse is that the installation was clearly not in good condition. The spring that kept the dogs in place was installed with far too little tension. This means that the dogs can easily misalign with both the chain and the metal trough. Needless to say, the whole maintenance exercise was a recipe for disaster. Could one truly assume that the workers didn't know that this simple decision could set the stage for a fatal accident? According to reports of the accident, the wrong safety dogs were used. The illegally installed chains failed to engage, forcing the car to rapidly plummet back down the track. As it rounded the 90-degree turn leading to the station, the intense lateral force, combined with restraints not designed for reverse motion, caused the riders to be hurled to their death. The authorities soon began their investigations and quickly found out about the safety dog. Apparently, the subpar safety dogs had worn down so badly it was no longer sharp, leaving them almost no chance of engaging with the anti-rollback system. After a day of investigation, the director of the state's Division of Codes and Standards, Mr. William Connolly, noted that the drag chain was supposed to let go of the ride automatically. At that point, it was a question of who was to blame for the chain releasing too soon. Who was to blame for the substandard chains that were used on a new Wild Wonder car? As the investigation continued, it became clear that amusement parks were once again losing their credibility by not taking the appropriate safety measures. According to Joel Cliff, spokesman for the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions, the season has been extremely depressing and it's absolutely not normal. And of course it wasn't normal, as the accident on Saturday had raised the total number of deaths to 4 in recent weeks. For perspective, Joel Cliff stated that the average number of amusement park deaths during the last 2 decades has been 2 per year. So how come they had a recorded 4 within weeks? The spokesman went further, saying, "I have no idea what is causing more accidents this year. I believe it's simply a series of unfortunate coincidences." But could it all truly be a series of coincidences? The first case reported involved a woman who was riding alone with an extra seat for comfort. While she was excited, as the coaster reached its heights and took on sharp turns, she was shockingly thrown out of her seat. Fortunately, she survived the heart-stopping accident and only suffered some injuries. Next was a crippled 12-year-old who died a week ago while riding at Great America Park in Santa Clara. The child slipped out of a harness. Just a day later, a guy had partially wiggled free of a shoulder strap and fell from Paramount's King Dominion's shockwave. Even after that, a coaster at Six Flags Marine World in Vallejo, California, stopped working midway the ride, trapping 28 passengers for nearly 4 hours. At that point, amusement ride guests were getting cautious, with one witness quoted as saying, "You always assume you're locked in and protected, but then you hear about something like this and you go, wow." So once again, how could something that was very safe just 2 years ago suddenly become so life-threatening? In order to find the answers they needed, the New Jersey safety experts searched beneath the cars and tracks of the brand new 2-story steel coaster. And to do this, Gillian's Wonderland Pier had to be closed. Soon, it was clear that the amusement park owners had gotten careless and they weren't as serious about maintenance as they should have been. After an investigation, New Jersey sued Wonderland Pier and Zamperla, the makers of the chain, holding them both accountable for the accident. Zamperla was accused of failing to provide a replacement schedule for the chain and safety dogs on its twist and turn coasters. In addition, the coaster was removed from the park. And like they did in '97, New Jersey had to modify the rules to amusement rides. They increased the penalties for an amusement ride law violation from $500 to $5,000. Also, it is prohibited in almost every U.S. state to modify a ride without the manufacturer's approval. To date, Kimberly Bailey and her daughter Jessica are regarded as the state's first amusement ride fatalities in over a decade. Do you still trust amusement parks and roller coasters, or do you think twice before boarding? Unfortunately, there are many incidents that take place, some even costing people's lives. Do you want to hear more groundbreaking stories about roller coaster tragedies? Make sure to like, subscribe, and watch our other videos too. Also, don't forget to turn on the notifications. That's it for now. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.